We're ranking the 10 greatest World Cup tournaments ever staged, scored on drama, tactical innovation, and sheer global impact. From finals decided by muddy boots and secret cabinet meetings to a semi-final where 5 goals hit the net in 18 minutes, every entry on this countdown earned its spot through moments most highlight reels still get wrong. Which edition sits at number 1? Let's find out, starting where it all began. In the 10th place, a football tournament was born on the far side of the Atlantic, Uruguay 1930, the World Cup's original oddball. 13 teams took part, and 4 brave European squads crammed onto steamships for an 18-day ocean crossing. The host nation had just celebrated its centenary with a brand new stadium, the Estadio Centenario, so massive it could swallow 93,000 fans whole. Olympic champions Uruguay flexed their gold medals and their hospitality, but most of the world could only follow the action through flickering Pathy newsreels and Montevideo newspaper headlines. The logistics were pure chaos. Teams dodged customs, kits got lost at sea, and the schedule was so tight that some matches overlapped. Yet somehow this small sea-locked event set the blueprint for every World Cup to come. A global spectacle stitched together by ambition, steam routes, and a dash of South American swagger. Number 9, Brazil, 1950, where football heartbreak became a national trauma. Picture this: nearly 200,000 fans packed into the Maracana, the largest crowd ever to watch a match, expecting a coronation. Instead, Uruguay's Alcides Gejia slipped past Brazil's defense, scoring a goal that sent the stadium into stunned silence and the nation into mourning. Newspapers ran black borders, flags flew at half-mast, and the president called an emergency cabinet meeting to discuss the moral injury to Brazil. The defeat was so painful that some fans reportedly wore black for weeks, and a new superstition was born: never wear white for a final. Maracanazo didn't just shatter dreams. It triggered political fallout and rewrote Brazil's sporting psyche. Not many World Cups can claim to have caused a government crisis and a wardrobe change. 8th place, Switzerland, 1954, where the miracle of Bern flipped football logic on its head. Hungary arrived with a 32-game unbeaten streak, steamrolling opponents with 27 goals in 5 matches. Enter West Germany, tactical underdogs armed with secret weapons. Rain-soaked Bern, adjustable Adidas screw-in boots, and the psychological swagger of post-war optimism. The pitch turned slick, the Magyars started slipping, and suddenly the German passing game clicked. Fritz Walter later credited the wet turf and those boots for keeping his side upright while Hungary skidded. A 3-2 comeback stunned the world and became a symbol of Germany's Wirtschaftswunder, the economic miracle. For once, even the weather took sides. Number 7, England 1966, where the World Cup final turned into the world's first viral replay debate. Wembley Stadium, packed with 96,924 fans and a nation on edge, saw England and West Germany locked at 2 apiece, deep into extra time. Then came Geoff Hurst's infamous shot. It cannoned off the crossbar, bounced down, and then did it cross the line? Soviet linesman Tofik Baramov signaled yes, referee Gottfried Dienst agreed, and suddenly England were on their way to a 4-2 victory and their only World Cup title. But that single decision did not just crown a champion, it launched decades of pub arguments, forensic studies, and ref-watch TV segments. British Patha reels replayed the moment so often that even people who had never seen a football match had an opinion. In a pre-VAR world, this was the goal that made slow-motion controversy a global sport of its own. Number 6, Mexico 1970, where football went Technicolor and Brazil danced its way into legend. For the first time, fans from London to Lagos watched the World Cup in living color. Mexican television logs showed a global broadcast reach across 40 nations. No more squinting at fuzzy black and white shadows. On the pitch, Brazil played like a samba orchestra. Pelé, in his final World Cup, set up and scored goals with such grace that even rival defenders applauded. Jairzinho did something no one else has matched. He scored in every single game, 6 in a row, turning the net into his personal mailbox. Tactics changed too. Brazil's 4-2-4 formation morphed into a free-flowing carousel, and Opta's retro data shows they completed 90% of attacking passes in the final third. Mexico 1970 did not just crown a champion, it made football beautiful, and for millions, it finally looked as good as it felt. Number 5. Argentina 1978, where football brilliance collided with the iron grip of a military junta. Buenos Aires pulsed with ticker tape parades and Mario Kempes' wild hair. But just outside the stadiums, armored trucks rolled past the cheering crowds. The government ran unity commercials on television, while Amnesty International reported a spike in disappearances during the tournament. On the pitch, Kempes went from local star to national savior, scoring 6 goals and winning the Golden Boot. But the shadow that will not leave is the 6-0 demolition of Peru. Argentina needed at least 4 goals to reach the final, and somehow found 6 as Peru's defense melted like ice cream in July. Whispers of backroom deals and freezer shipments to Lima still swirl, though official inquiries called it unexplained irregularities. In the end, Kempes lifted the trophy, the junta claimed a public relations victory, and football fans got a World Cup that was part carnival, part Cold War thriller. Number 4, Spain 1982, where football soap opera went full primetime. Paolo Rossi, fresh off a 2-year ban for match fixing, returned to the Italian squad with all the fanfare of a telenovela villain turned hero. The new 24-team format meant more twists, more dead ends, and a second group stage that left mathematicians and fans reaching for aspirin. But the real headline was Rossi's resurrection act against Brazil, a hat trick that sent Zico, Socrates, and Falcao packing and left neutrals gasping. Italy's run wasn't just about redemption, it was about surviving the world's most convoluted schedule, outlasting a tournament that stretched to 52 matches. The expanded cast delivered more chaos, more drama, and, thanks to Rossi, a comeback story that still feels scripted. Spain 1982 didn't just crown a champion, it rewrote the rules for what a World Cup could be. Coming to the top 3, Mexico 1986, where Maradona became both saint and sinner in the space of 4 minutes. In the quarterfinal against England, altitude fatigue had players gasping by halftime, and the battered pitch at Estadio Azteca looked more like a cow pasture than a world stage. Then, Maradona summoned the hand of God, a cheeky left jab that fooled the referee and sent English defenders into orbit. But before the outrage could settle, he picked up the ball in his own half, dribbled 60 meters past 5 England shirts, and scored what is still called the goal of the century. Mexican newspapers exploded with headlines, and global TV ratings spiked as fans scrambled to witness both magic and mischief in real time. No other World Cup has packed such a wild cocktail of controversy and genius into a single match, all under the glare of relentless cameras and the thin Mexico City air. In second place, France 1998 signaled the dawn of a new World Cup era, literally, with 32 teams, 8 debutants, and a schedule that had statisticians sweating. The group stage alone featured Jamaica's Reggae Boys, Croatia's checkerboard upstarts, and a Norwegian side that actually beat Brazil, sending shockwaves through betting shops worldwide. But the real headline came on July 12th. France, a nation still arguing about cheese, bread, and national identity, fielded a squad so diverse, the press dubbed them Black Blanc Beur. That final saw Zinedine Zidane, born in Marseille to Algerian parents, score not 1 but 2 headers against Brazil before halftime, turning the Stade de France into a month-long street party. The 3-0 scoreline was so emphatic, Brazilian fans started suspecting their team had eaten bad feijoada. Beyond the confetti, the legacy of France 1998 was structural. The 32-team format became the blueprint for a truly global tournament, and the multicultural victory made the World Cup feel like it belonged to everyone, not just the usual suspects. And finally, in first place, Brazil 2014, where the beautiful game was reprogrammed in front of a global audience. Germany's 7-1 demolition of Brazil in the semi-final was not just a defeat, it was a statistical meltdown. 5 German goals flew in within the first 29 minutes, a pace so relentless that Opta's live data feed briefly crashed. The match produced the fastest 5-goal lead in World Cup history, and the fallout sent 35 million tweets ricocheting around the world before the final whistle. But this tournament was not all about humiliation. Germany's run was a masterclass in tactical precision, averaging 61% possession across the tournament and completing over 500 passes per game. Thomas Muller's off-the-ball movement had analysts redrawing their heat maps, while Miroslav Klose quietly slipped past Ronaldo to become the all-time World Cup top scorer. For Brazil, the heartbreak was so deep that polls showed 80% of fans wanted the national team to start over from scratch. Brazil 2014 did not just crown a champion, it set the modern template for shock, spectacle, and digital age drama. Across all 10 tournaments, one pattern is clear. The World Cup's greatness is not just about goals or trophies, it is about the unpredictable moments that explode into legend. Every era rewrites the script, proving football's chaos is its greatest gift. The next classic, it's always just 4 years away.